40-year-old suspect from Burton. He's a male. He drove his vehicle through the front doors of the church. He then exited his vehicle, firing several rounds at individuals within the church. 10 gunshot victims have been transported to local hospitals at this time, including one who has been deceased.
We continue to get more information about the church shooting and attack that took place in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Obviously, one deceased thus far among the at least 10 victims, and we also know that there are a number of them that remain in critical condition at this hour. Unfortunately, more victims, all the more likely. And with more on that, we want to welcome back correspondent Brian Yanis. Brian, you were watching the news conference earlier. I guess we'll get more information at 5 p.m. What else can you tell us about the shooter and about the unfortunate circumstance that surrounds yet another violent attack in this country?
Well, Kevin, we know from that press conference that the FBI has about 100 agents on scene helping local law enforcement as they are now going to retrace this shooter's steps, the 40-year-old from Burton. They did not release his name, as you astutely pointed out in the last couple of minutes, and that is because we believe that the FBI is now going to search not only his online history, but also go to this shooter's home where they can try to figure out and find some sort of motive behind this horrific shooting this morning. We know that this shooting started at 10:25 this morning. The suspected shooter rammed his car through the front doors of this church. At some point separately, this shooter started a fire in that church that consumed the entire church. When that shooter exited his vehicle, he used his assault rifle, opened fire, shot 10 people. One person died. 9 people are at the hospital, some in critical condition, others in stable condition. And there is an unknown number of victims who unfortunately perished inside of that fire. The chief of police saying that this was a fire that may have trapped people on the second floor of this church. There were hundreds of people at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, when all of this happened. They were there worshiping with their families, multiple generations of people, obviously, and their families there. So a horrific situation. At this point, we are now getting a reaction from this. Latest reaction now from a spokesman for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who released a statement calling this a tragic act of violence that occurred today. They are deeply grateful for the outpouring of prayers and concern from so many people around the world. In moments of sorrow and uncertainty, we find strength and comfort through our faith in Jesus Christ. Places of worship are meant to be sanctuaries of peacemaking, prayer, and connection. We pray for peace and healing for all involved. And that, again, a spokesman for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who just released that statement for what happened at this church about 60 miles northwest of Detroit, just south of Flint, Michigan. As the shooter is down, and all thanks to the heroic work of 2 local law enforcement officers who arrived on scene and immediately engaged with this shooter, shooting and killing the suspect. This is what they are trained for, despite the fact that there was an ongoing massive blaze that consumed that entire church. They engaged with the immediate threat, which was that shooter. And I'm sure we're going to learn more in the coming hours of how many lives perhaps were saved because of those heroic actions of those 2 police officers. We are also getting response from the President of the United States, who says that he was briefed on what he calls a horrendous shooting. And he also says that not only is the FBI immediately on scene, but also this point. The suspect is dead, but there is still a lot to learn, the president says. This appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted, as we always do. In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. This epidemic of violence in our country must end immediately. The president, perhaps, obviously there, making note of the fact that there was that horrific fire in August 27th, about a month ago, almost exactly, a mass shooting at the Annunciation Catholic Church that killed 2 people and injured many others in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So we don't know the motive yet officially. We will hopefully learn more when the FBI and local law enforcement hold that press conference at 5 p.m. today. But right now, it's prayers for those victims, and as we know that there are perhaps an unknown number of victims as well in that fire. Kevin.
Great stuff, Brian Yanis. Appreciate that. Again, the president saying this appears to be yet another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. Again, you heard Brian make mention of what happened over in Minnesota. And again, as I pointed out throughout the afternoon, there have been a number of targeted attacks on Christian, not just Christians all over the globe, but in particular Christian churches in Europe. We want to bring in former D.C. homicide detective and Fox News contributor Ted Williams. It's too early to assign a motivation here, Ted, but obviously they're going to begin to piece this all together one step at a time. You heard Brian mention something I thought was very important. They want to make sure they don't necessarily name an individual before they have a chance to collect their communications and perhaps even get over to a home or a storage locker, just see what else they can collect. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a very clear assessment on the part of you and Brian. Look, Kevin, what we have here this morning, this horrific event, this was a domestic terrorist act. When you take an automobile where you know that a large congregant of people are in a church worshiping, and you run it through the front door of that church and you set fire to that church, that is an act of domestic terrorism. And this is one of the reasons that I recently called for, and I'm saying once again, we need laws in place for acts of domestic terrorism in this country. We don't have a domestic terrorism act law on the books. We need Congress to get busy and get that done, because we're witnessing more and more of these kinds of acts. I'm from the state of Louisiana. I was down in New Orleans covering where we had a terrorist attack there, where a person came from Houston, Texas with a vehicle and ran over and killed many people there in New Orleans. And we look at what has happened here today. This is not the exception, unfortunately, but it looks like it's becoming the norm, and we have to do something about this in America.
We have to do something about it indeed. Want to share this too. The Vice President, J.D. Vance, says the entire Trump administration is monitoring the Grand Blanc, Michigan church shooting and fire, as are we. Of course, we'll continue our coverage after a very quick timeout. Ted, stand by.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.